Hey, happy Thursday. This is Alan coming to you from my office in Vancouver and another edition of Live Your Best Life with Modexus. And today I have my eye on you. Yeah, I have my eye on you. What a strange expression. Can you imagine having to learn English and the only way you can do is take that literally? I have my eye on you. It doesn't work very good, does it? Anyway, so I want you to understand your eye a little bit better. First of all, there's a system in our body of nerves called the reticular activating system. Now, the reticular activating system plays on the fact that our eye is one of the only organs that has a nerve, like right there, that goes directly into our brain. You can think about our ear, but our ear, the nerves are inside, they're hidden quite a bit. But the eye, the nerve is right there, boom, and right into our brain. There's just a little bit of vitreous fluid between you and that nerve. And so it's really a surface nerve that goes directly into your brain. And that can be quite useful. There's this thing called the reticular activating system, which is a connection between your fingertips, your eyeball, and that center in your brain. So people who have brain damage, they can go through reticular activating therapy, which they use their fingertips to actually reverse and help damage in the brain, like bring back certain skills that people may have lost due to a brain injury. And so your brain, the brain, the nerve, that whole system is very, very powerful. So protecting our eyes and keeping our eyes is, well, it's just one of the things we want to do. I have a brother who has tragically lost his vision through an accident, and his one eye was so damaged they had to remove it to protect that nerve, actually, to keep that nerve because of its other activity with his fingertips, etc. They had to preserve that nerve. And then his other eye, he's legally blind. So it's a really challenging thing when you've had your sight all your life and then all of a sudden you don't have it. So we want to protect our eyes. And how can we do that? Well, although there is some things with the eyeball itself, like glaucoma, which fortunately glutathione has a powerful effect on glaucoma, so that's really great. But it's the surface of the eye that we want to really focus on, or I want to focus on, because that's where we're most likely to get damaged, is on the surface of the eye. The eye surface, actually, there's three surfaces in the eye. I'm not going to go into the anatomy of the eye. You can look that up. But the cataracts actually are underneath the first layer of the eye. So it's one of the things that makes them really difficult to treat and why surgery is often necessary. But here's the biggest myth about eye health that I want to bust this one wide open today. And that is that you need sunglasses all the time you're in sunlight. That is actually categorically incorrect. You need sunlight for your eyes. And it's suggested, 20, 30 minutes a day. No, that's impossible where I live. We just don't get that much sunshine here. We live in a rainforest. If we can't do that, then we need vitamin D, and we need vitamin D in quite a quantity to kind of make up for this just lack of activating through our skin and through our eye. There's a trigger mechanism which we don't completely understand yet with vitamin D, but sunlight on the eye actually is one of the triggers to convert inactive vitamin D into active vitamin D in our body. So it's really important to get sunlight as often as we can. Now, Randy mentioned the other day that he'd been to the optometrist and his eye prescription hasn't changed. And I wanted to tell you about my experience. I went to the optometrist in 2012, that's 13 years ago, and we had this very extensive eye examination, and he came and was like, I don't know what's going on, but your eyes are actually better. We need to reduce your prescription. And so literally my prescription for my eyes hasn't changed much, but I had it done in 2012, so 10 years later, and he said to me, really, you only need reading glasses. So they actually are continuing to improve, or continuing at least to maintain, and that's really awesome. And the only change I made prior to 2012 was optimizing glutathione. So I can attribute that to the optimization of glutathione. And then I started taking vitamin D in the correct quantity for the area of the world that I live in. And if you live in a northern area, like people don't think Vancouver is that far north, but it is a rainforest, so we don't get much sunshine. But you know, the RDA for vitamin D is way off, and that might be a topic for another time. But our eye health. So there's two things going on with our eye health. Number one is glutathione. And maybe we don't understand the whole process of what glutathione is doing, but we do know that it has a dramatic effect on glaucoma. And then vitamin D. And vitamin D being a trigger mechanism, our eye, the surface of our eye, and the conversion of vitamin D there, or triggering the optic nerve. We don't understand this complete process to the extent that I would like to, but there is something there that allows your body to go into activating vitamin D through exposure to sunlight through your eyes. So really important that we get sunlight in our eyes, and really important then that we protect them, because overexposure to sunlight is damaging to our eyes. So it's a fine balance. It's sort of like reactive oxygen species in our body. We need them for something, or inflammation. We need it for repair, but we don't need it all the time for everything. So what do we do about that? Well, longevity, the first ingredient in longevity is vitamin D3, and then you have your glutathione. It's liposomal glutathione, so it will go through fatty tissues and fatty membranes, which means it could get into your eye and be effective there. So we do have the ingredients in longevity that are essential to eye health. Now, the other ingredient is collagen. The vitreous fluid in your eye changes every 48 hours. And it's just mostly collagen. It's actually a collagen product. We have 28 kinds of collagen in our body. The vitreous fluid is one of those, and it changes. So, you know, as sometimes people wonder, well, I'm still getting floaters in my eye. What's going on there? Well, it's just the fact that there's a lot of activity. There's a lot of change going on in your eyeball, and unless you have glaucoma or another eye condition, generally floaters are not to be worried about. They're actually very natural, and they will go on most of your life. So just make sure you get your eyes checked, and make sure you're optimizing your vitamin D. Check the vitamin D that you need for your area, wherever you live. Expose your eyes to some sunlight, and take your longevity. And hopefully, when you go to the doctor, you'll have the same result as Randy. Anyway, this is Alan. You have a wonderful day, and we'll talk soon.